Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the State of the City address featuring Douglasville Mayor Rochelle Robinson and presented by Google and in partnership with the Douglas County Chamber. I'm Nadia Fawcett. I'm the chair of the board of the Douglas County Chamber, and I just want to thank you for joining us today. Everyone, please rise for the presentation of colors from the Chapel Hill High School ROTC, as well as the singing of our national anthem by Councilwoman Dr. LaShawn Burr-Danley.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Well, I have 3 words. Well, all right now. That was amazing. That was amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. At this time, I'd like to invite Gil Schraus, Executive Director for the Douglas County Water and Sewer Authority, up for our invocation.
Thank you, Nadia, and thank you so much for having me follow that. Wow. Thank you. That was wonderful. Let us pray. Lord God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the meal we have had. Thank you for those who have prepared it so well. We pray that you bless them and that you bless this meal, that it would be nourishment for our bodies. Thank you for the great community we celebrate today and the opportunity that we have to gather here. We thank you also for our elected leaders, and we pray that you bless them. Give them wisdom and discernment as they lead us, and we pray that you continue to bless our great community. Thank you for all that you've given to us. May we steward those gifts well. Bless this time together. We pray in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Gil, and I'm glad I got to follow that versus Councilman Burr-Danley's invocation. You did a wonderful job. You blessed everything better than anybody else in this room could. Am I done sucking up now? Good evening, everyone. I'm Sarah Ray. I'm the president and CEO of the Douglas County Chamber, and just want to welcome you to the State of City Address on behalf of the Chamber. And we are excited to hear from the wonderful and dazzling, my friend, Mayor Rochelle Robinson. But before we do that, I would like to provide some special recognitions for some of our guests that we have tonight. First, I would like to recognize our elected leaders that are attending tonight. We have representation from several different organizations. So if you'll please stand and introduce yourselves, that would be great. We can start over here at the empty table. Do you want to stand too? You have a fan back there, it seems. Respectfully known as N. Miller and T. Miller for those that attend council meetings. Yep. Great. Thank you guys all. Thank you guys all for being here this evening and for all that you do on a local and state level. We're also proud to recognize our Douglas County Chamber Board of Directors and our cornerstone investors today. They do amazing things in support of our business community, and I would just like to take a moment and recognize them. So if you are one of our chamber board members or our cornerstone investors, if you could please stand and introduce yourself, or if you're representing one tonight. Yes. All right, we want to start over here. You can go, Nadia. That's great. Well, thank you guys all for your leadership, and thank you all for being here tonight to support our event. Lastly, I would just like to take a moment and recognize Google. They're our presenting sponsor this evening. They have always been a great community partner with the city of Douglasville, as well as many other organizations in Douglasville and Douglas County, and I would just like to take a moment to recognize them for their sponsorship tonight. That deserves a round of applause. They do a lot for our community. Again, thank you guys all for coming tonight, and at this time, I would like to invite our wonderful and dazzling city manager, Marcia Hampton, up for our next introduction.
Good evening, everybody. As Sarah said, I'm Marcia Hampton, City Manager for the City of Douglasville. I've had the privilege of being an employee for the city for over 20 years. So Mayor Robinson is my third mayor, and it's been a pleasure to work with her and the elected officials. I represent, when we're full staff, 300 employees for the city, being able to deliver services to the residents of Douglasville, and it's always a pleasure to be able to do that. We're proud of the work that we do. We're proud of being able to support the initiatives of the elected officials, as well as being able to support Mayor Robinson as she delivers her State of the City address. So before I have a seat and introduce the mayor, I would just like for all city employees who are here in the room to wave your hand. I'm not going to ask you to state your name nor what you do. Yeah, y'all got to stand up. Come on. So you do actually at least have to stand up. It's always a joy and a pleasure to be able to serve with the staff at the city, and we are honored to be able to work on your behalf as well as the elected officials delivering great service to you. And with that, I'd like to introduce you to the mayor of the city of Douglasville, Mayor Rochelle Robinson.
Oh my goodness. You all are standing before I even started. That's such a blessing. Thank you, City Manager. As Ms. Hampton has said, she's been able to withstand 3 mayors. She has to be a special person. And it's one of the best decisions that I made as a city council member over 20 years ago to bring, we interviewed her and to bring her on as the Main Street manager. And for our team Douglasville, the employees, that lets you know that if you work very hard and you do the right thing, as Ms. Hampton minded her business and did her job, that you can rise to the top, and there is room for everyone. So thank you so much again, City Manager, for the invitation in the introduction. And Councilmember Burt Downley, can we just give her another hand? She brought the Lord in through the Star Spangled Banner. Thank you to my colleagues. I really appreciate you all. This is a team effort. I'm standing here, but this is for all of us. I'm just the voice behind the team. So thank you all that we're able to serve together with integrity and kindness and able to get things done. So welcome to the City of Douglasville, State of the City 2023, to our residents of Douglasville and Douglas County. To the Chamber of Commerce, thank you so much, Miss Sarah. Her word for tonight, dazzling, the dazzling Sarah Ray at the Chamber of Commerce. I know we do have some other elected officials and some of their representatives who are on their way. I know they're coming from the state capitol, so they may be a little bit late. Superintendent North here, I thought he said he was on his way as well. Come on now. Superintendent North, good to see you. And our school board, thank you so much, Mr. Caldwell and others who have come in. We really appreciate you. Our city staff, stellar staff, the best in the state of Georgia. Give them a hand, they're awesome. And our wonderful, wonderful guests. Well, we're going to get into it. I know that you all have been eating, and it's good, so just keep on eating. I talk very loud. I'm a preacher, so you know I can raise my voice as well. But you all continue to eat and enjoy, and hopefully I won't keep you too long and you won't be bored about hearing about the city of Douglasville. We have been up to some great things this year. My mayor, my friend, Mr. McDougal, stand up because I want them to see you. You a new man. Stand up, brother. Look at Villarica's mayor. Woo! If you know anyone in Villarica, tell them, it's an election year. Okay, that was a shameless plug. But thank you all so much. It's with great pride that I stand before you this evening to reflect on the accomplishments of the year of 2022 in Douglasville. We saw more events, activities, and programs being hosted in our parks and public spaces than ever before, which lets me know that people are engaged, they feel safe, and they're happy to be out and about in our great city. This type of engagement helps to build a strong sense of community and fosters a vibrant local economy. We saw positive growth in residential developments and welcomed several new businesses to the community, ranging from local shops to globally recognized brands. This indicates a healthy and thriving economy, bringing new opportunities for employment, goods and services, and the overall good of the community. We also saw major renovations at some of our oldest parks and made exciting progress on a beautiful new town green center. If you want to know where it is, just keep on driving down to the bottom of the hill, and you'll see that town green with the amphitheater coming out of the ground. We're so excited about that. These projects will help improve our overall quality of life and bring more opportunities for outdoor recreation. As a community, we came together to focus on the future. As voters renewed the special purpose local option sales tax, the SPLOST, and we also finalized a long-term intergovernmental agreement with Douglas County for our local option sales tax and our service delivery agreement. We have started transitioning years of plans and studies into real projects that will continue to move Douglasville forward, projects that you can put your hands on and see and touch. And with all of that has been accomplished in the past year, we have never lost sight of our priorities and our mission, which is to serve you, the community. In everything that we do at the City of Douglasville, we focus on three major areas: why we serve, who we serve, and how we serve. Today we're going to look at these three areas as we review the major accomplishments of the past year, and then I'll let you all get ready for the weekend. It's Thursday, and tomorrow starts after work, of course, our great weekend. We'll begin with why we serve. We have an amazing staff and dedicated group of elected officials who serve the city of Douglasville because we genuinely care about the community. We have retirees that want to come back to work, Miss Regina Chapman and Miss Jones. They just can't stay away. We also understand that the actions we take have a direct impact on our residents. With that in mind, we have prioritized community engagement to ensure citizens are not only informed, but involved in decision-making. Our citizens' boards and authorities across the city of Douglasville, we have 19 different boards and authorities for our citizens to serve on to help Douglasville move forward. Those boards are made up of 92 volunteer board members. Volunteer. These citizens are engaged, and they're from every ward in the city of Douglasville to help us to make this local government active for all of the citizens. Our volunteers, in addition to serving in an official capacity, we have hundreds and hundreds of wonderful volunteers that show up and make a difference in our community every day. From organizations that participate in our Adopt a Road program, to our neighborhood litter brigades, to individuals who volunteer at our parks and coaches at our parks, these selfless individuals help to make Douglasville an amazing place that it is to live, work, play, and raise a family. Now we have a great thing that's inside of Douglasville. If you want to get a peek behind the curtain like the Wizard of Oz, when everything is happening, you say, don't worry about the man behind the curtain. So we have that. It's called the Dose of Douglasville. It's a Citizens Academy. A number of years ago, the city developed this Dose of Douglasville program to educate residents about how the city operates. And it's a 10-week program, and each session that the participants take will open you up to a new department within the city of Douglasville, and you can interact directly with the city staff. Since its creation, we've had 137 graduates from this program. These informed citizens have gone on to serve on many of our boards and authorities. They volunteer in community organizations, and some have even joined the City of Douglasville staff to become the best employees that we have. Now, with this community engagement piece, we have meetings, and we've also called on residents over the past year to get actively involved through our community engagement process. The citizens hosted, or the city hosted with the citizens, 31 community meetings throughout 2022. That's just in 2022. We had 31 separate community meetings, to include town hall meetings, community input meetings, New Horizons meetings, SPLOS educational meetings, and many, many more. And for every one of those meetings, we had dedicated citizens who showed up to make their voices heard. Having a direct connection with our citizens helps us to understand what residents want in their community. For example, this is one that we had a lot of input on, the Greystone Amphitheater. Yay! I'm going to tell you some exciting news. In 2022, we completed major construction on the Greystone Amphitheater, and this fall we will see the new Douglasville Town Green officially open, with some amazing shows and events for our community, including a grand opening concert and celebration on Labor Day weekend, featuring one of the greatest singers in the past 50 years. It is my great pleasure to officially announce tonight that on September 2nd, 2023, we will be welcoming 7-time Grammy Award winner, leaving on that midnight train to joy, leaving on the midnight train, Gladys Knight to the Greystone Amphitheater. That's great, and she's right here in Georgia. This is one of the biggest and most exciting projects to come to our city in a very long time. And both the development of this amphitheater and the selection of such an iconic artist for our kickoff celebration were the direct results of community input and feedback. It wasn't just the city council. Councilman Estes served on that board. It was a group of citizens across the board. So that's just the first artist, but we have a plethora of artists coming up, and they are different genres for everyone in the community. When we work with our partners at Elevate Douglas, we also focus on attracting smart growth and development that reflects on our community's vision for Douglasville's future. Speaking of economic growth, over the past year, we have seen some exciting new projects such as Home Chef, a Kroger company. If you go into Kroger, they have these prepared packs of food that are fresh food, so it's prepared, something like that, and prepackaged for you to purchase. They opened a state-of-the-art facility in Tributary area in 2022, bringing 700 new jobs to the community. Now we'll move on. We have another company that we just announced last week is Project Bulldog, which is Project Zoetis. My daughter's going to be happy to hear about this. She has a cat named Oreo. He's a tuxedo cat. So Zoetis is the world's leading animal health company. This Fortune 500 global brand that has been chosen to establish its new Southeast manufacturing facility right here in Douglasville purchased the former Bang Energy space. This will be a multi-phase project deploying over a number of years. Phase 1 that's starting now will bring $200 million invested in this project with 150 new jobs with an average salary, Breezy, of $60K a year, with a potential for another $400 million invested in future phases. That is an excellent thing. Not only that, we have the film studio project with Great Point Studio anchored by Lionsgate Studios. This $200 million facility will feature 12 large sound stages and a support stage in space. This will also further expand the film and TV production presence in our community, and this project will impact not only Douglasville and Douglas County, but the entire West Georgia region. So now I don't have to come all the way to Villa Rica to see the Daz Band or something and filming. Mayor, you can come and hang out with me. So, yes, sir. We've also have exciting new additions from locally owned and operated businesses. Of course, we have the huge businesses, and we always need the foundation of our local businesses, as I grew up knowing them as mom and pops. My dad had a business, and he owned a gas station and a car repair place. So I know that these are important as well. And that's what America's built on, small businesses. So we have the Red Velvet Bistro was new to 2022, Be Beautifully True Boutique, and Dreaming Suites. And throughout the city, we're seeing new businesses thrive. You are not going to believe this. In 2022 alone, we had 500 new business licenses. Can you believe? Let's clap for the business people. That is great. They're going to be coming, Sarah, to the chamber. 500 new business licenses in 2022, showing that Douglasville continues to be a great place for business. And I'm always excited to talk about Arbor Place Mall. Doom, doom, doom. Some people say, what's going on with the mall, Mayor? And I keep talking to the mall manager. And despite current trends of malls across the country, Arbor Place Mall continues to do very well economically. They are at 95% occupancy, and they're renovating the new carpets on the inside of the mall. They're doing inside, and they're going to come outside and start doing some pickup and renovations and landscaping on the outside. So the mall is coming along. We continue to talk to them. CBL owns Cumberland Mall, and so that is the model that we're searching for, trying to have entertainment and dinner and places, restaurants to eat at Arbor Place. But Arbor Place is a place to be. Is when you come off of I-20 West and before you get to South Fulton, that's where people shop. So they're doing very well economically. But we'll continue to stay on the mall and make certain that there are places there for us to shop. So we'll move on and talk about outside of the economy, but talk about people. Based on the most recent census, Douglasville saw a population growth of 4,200 new residents from 2010 to 2012, just in 12 years. So we anticipate seeing equal growth, as the Atlanta Regional Commission has forecasted, that we'll have that same amount of growth, 4,200 new residents in just the next 3 years. So it took us 12 years to get 4,200 people. Now they're saying it's going to happen in 3 years. So people are moving west. And with that kind of growth, we have to have proper planning and smart planning. So as we do so, we're continuing to reach out to the community to get you all involved in the process through strategic plans, the New Horizon marketing plan, a 5-year comprehensive plan, and an ADA transition plan. Now, that one's very exciting for me. These are just a few of our recent projects that have been driven by community input. We had a citizen come and tell us that they could not get across the street because they were in a wheelchair, so we're starting an ADA transition plan for the entire city. That's great. Thank you. So I love the amount of involvement we see from our citizens, and as we work together to make positive impact on our community, the motivation is clear. I hope that you can see why we serve. It's for the people. But for every engaged citizen that is actively involved in our community, there are populations that feel that they're unseen, unheard, and underserved. And because of that, we have to reach out especially. That's why we make it a point to know who we serve so that we can go to them and serve them if they don't come to us. As we turn our focus on who we serve, it reminds us that our work is for the benefit of the whole community, and we must ensure that all citizens and all members of this community are served equally. We are only as strong as our weakest link, and we will only rise or fall together, and people will measure us by how we treat the least of these. So in our Parks and Recreations Department, it has been key in addressing some of these areas over the past few years. They're leading the way to help us to get to where we're serving everyone in the community. We must serve everyone in this community regardless of your gender, your race, your economic status, your political affiliation, your age. The city of Douglasville is no respecter of persons. We're here to serve everyone who pays their tax dollars and those who can't but want to enjoy the community. So we'll move on with our Parks and Recreation. In 2022, our Parks Department made programming for girls in sports a priority. I know, Ms. Pageant, girls. And we saw a 60% increase in registration for girls' athletics. We've heard that youth athletics for girls was something that was lacking, and so we actively went out, and Mr. Bass, our Parks Director, went out to help. So 60% increase through volleyball, basketball, and softball with girls. The Citizens' long-running League of Stars program offered an amazing adaptive baseball experience for our community's special needs population. And we saw a 55% increase in participants over the past year in our League of Stars program. And in 2022, the Parks Department established a brand new series of therapeutic recreation. It's called TR programs, specifically designed for this special needs population and their families. Over the past year, the city hosted 9 completely new events and activities for the new TR program and community. Through a special grant program administered by the Georgia statewide after-school program and network, our Parks Department also established a program called Spark After School Program. This program provides enrichment activities such as the arts, career exploration, service learning, healthy eating, physical activity, and learning acceleration to students after school. The focus on this out-of-school activities for students helps to fill the gaps between kids and their school schedules and their parents' work schedules, providing an important service for families in our community. So when they leave the school system, elected officials, the board of education and superintendent, they can come over to the city of Douglasville for the Spark program. In fact, the city hosts dozens of camps throughout the year specifically targeted at periods when kids are out of school to provide opportunities for fun, education, and safe programs for students. And in 2022, the city decided to take it a step further and have create the program Dare to Play Scholarship Program. This program ensures that finances don't create a barrier to healthy activities for the children of our community. Miss Mandy, the scholarships allows children to participate in various camps and programs at the city parks at no cost, no registration fees. This program will also provide opportunities for local businesses and individuals to sponsor those scholarships. So if you would like to sponsor a scholarship for a student who can't afford to pay, our son was in baseball, swimming, the girls' gymnastics, cheer. It gets to be expensive. So scholarships can help them participate in these programs. Now we'll move on as we continue to talk about the parks. The Hawthorne Center at Jesse Davis Park made programming for active adults, the seniors. I get a discount at Ross these days, so you know I'm a senior now. In our community to focus this year. In 2022, we had over 600 seniors and active adults participate in a new health and wellness program throughout our parks. We have a walk coming up. Mr. Bass we're gonna walk and sing at the same time, right? Okay, I don't know how we're gonna do that, but anyway, that's what active seniors are going to do. I think it's next month or the end of this month. But also in 2022, we broke ground on a $25 million renovation park at Jesse Davis Park. $25 million. Yes, sir. This is the gateway to the northern part of Douglasville. When you come out of Paulding and Hiram and you drive through Jesse Davis Park, that is the gateway to the city of Douglasville. $25 million. It will bring a new senior center dedicated to this active population. And the park was funded by a general obligation bond, which the residents from all over the city of Douglasville and each ward voted for in 2021. Thank you, citizens, for trusting your local government to take your bonds money and go to the north end of the city and build it up. We appreciate that. In addition to the new senior center that's been renovated at Jesse Davis Park, named after Councilman Davis's father, a new community center will come, a gymnasium with basketball courts, an indoor walking track, an updated football field with year-round turf for the Tiger Cubs to come, the winning Tiger Cubs football program. I know somebody's clapping for the Tiger Cubs. They keep winning, yes. New playgrounds, a new water play area featuring an ADA-compliant zero-entry pool. That's a whole lot of words to say. If you don't know how to swim, you can still get in the water. I'm not talking about you, Miss Regina, I'm just saying. So you can get in the water if you don't know how to swim. It's a no zero entry pool and new outdoor basketball courts. In fact, all of the recent renovations that have been happening in our Jesse Davis Park have been happening all over the city of Douglasville in all of our parks, to include a new ADA compliant featuring and play areas such as a new playground at Fowler Field, if you have not seen that one, improvements to walking trails at Hunter Park, the recent renovations at the Mill Village, and Willing Workers. If you have not gone to Willing Workers Park, you need to go and get on that trail. Coach has gone over there to walk, Coach Watts. And in the coming months, we'll be completing a new ADA transition program that I talked to you about to ensure that the entire city is accessible to all of our citizens in the community. So that is a wonderful thing. So now we're gonna move on. I'm wrapping it up to get to the last point. But our Parks Department was truly led the way in ensuring that we're serving everyone in our community. And it is no surprise that they were selected, another drum roll, as the 2022 State Agency of the Year by the Georgia Recreation and Parks Association. Mr. Bass, stand up, Mr. Bass, and wave your hand. Hey, Parks Director. And just 1 week ago, our Parks Department was named a finalist in the National Gold Medal Award for the nation's National Recreation and Parks Association. This is the highest honor that can be bestowed upon a Parks and Recreation agency, and there are only 20 parks and local parks and agencies from across the country that were selected as finalists. So Douglasville was one of 20 across the nation to be named as Parks Association. That's great. Thank you, Parks team. I see you over there. The city has also worked with Georgia Department of Community Affairs, the DCA, to finalize plans for a coordinated entry program in Douglas County. This program will help manage and prioritize access to housing and service for people experiencing homelessness in our community. We have a must Ministries, which will lead the agency. This is the lead agency for this initiative, helping our community organize and come together to provide the most appropriate and effective services to those in need. And as I said, what we've done to the least of these, we need to look out for everyone. So this will include the homeless population, those that are suffering with mental illness, along with the City, County, and Community Services Board. And I'll just take a point of personal privilege right now. I hope it's not too much out of from the program. If we have clergy, could you stand for just a second? I just want you to agree with me. If any clergy in the house, please stand. We are just going to take a moment of silence for the city of Atlanta and the things that have been happening there this past couple of days, as we will remember them. And I reached out to Mayor Andre Dickens, and even in our own community. So if you don't mind, we'll take a moment of prayer to think about those folks. When I started talking about mental illness, it brought back to my remembrance what's been going on there. So if you don't mind, everyone, just the ministers, just agree with me, and if we could all bow our heads just for a moment of silence. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all allowing me to do that. Thank you, ministers. I appreciate that. Have to do something about mental illness in this country. Oh, so we'll move on to something happy. Douglasville Jr. The city has also made intentional efforts to continue connecting with some of our youngest citizens, trying to reach out to everyone in the community. When COVID restrictions ended the second grade field trips to City Hall, our Community Relations Department decided to create a kids program to educate elementary age students about local government. They work with the school system, thank you so much, Board of Education and Superintendent North, to help develop a curriculum. They work with students to get them involved in the programming process. I was at Chapel Hill Elementary School, and I got interviewed, and we were behind the scenes doing a news program. So the city of Douglasville created Douglasville Jr. And since its release during Georgia Cities Weeks in 2022, this creative program has received multiple awards, to include Georgia Municipal Association Visionary Cities Award, and that was in the Georgia Trend, a 2022 National Savvy Award from 3CMA, and we were on the cover of the April edition of Chapel Hill's News and Views. So if you don't mind, please give my community relations and Jason Post. I see you, Jason. Now, as we move into 2023, we'll welcome our focus on who we serve and strive to engage all members of our community with high-quality, inclusive, professional programs. So this leads me to our last point, how we serve. In everything we do as elected officials and city staff, we consider the importance of professionalism, efficiency, transparency, accountability, and pleasant and respectful customer service. As public servants, we are stewards of the public resources and the community's well-being. We must be ethical and vigilant in preventing waste, fraud, abuse, and ensuring that your taxpayer dollars are spent in a wise and a transparent manner for the greatest possible use of your public funds. Our finance department, when it comes to city finances, we continue to prioritize fiscal responsibility and transparency. Every year, the city's finances are reviewed by independent auditors to ensure proper reporting and processes. This accountability adds extra checks and balances to how your tax dollars are handled. In 2022, the city received awards from the Georgia Finance Officers Association, GFOA, for distinguished budget presentation. This is the third time we've received that distinction. And we've also had excellence in financial reporting. The city has received this recognition, you're not gonna believe this, 21 years in a row. Excellence in financial reporting. Where's Miss Callan? Is she here, Miss Karen Callan? Okay, that's our finance director. She does a wonderful job. The City Council passed a balanced budget. We do this every year, and in 2023, we went ahead and did it before time so that we'll give staff an opportunity to start implementing some of those programs and initiatives. The city managed to lower our FY24 budget by 2% while maintaining consistent levels of services to the community, 0.2%. Over the past couple of years, the city has established several new financial policies to help strengthen our financial position. So we don't need checkers, people to check the checkers. We check ourselves. These policies include debt management policy, fund balance policy, an investment policy, long-term forecasting and planning policy. These policies help for us to strengthen our financial position and to ensure proper use of public resources. The city continues to maintain a healthy fund balance. It is recommended by Georgia Municipal Association, and it's the city's policy to maintain 3 months of operating cost in their future fund balance. We currently have closer to 10 months. Now you say, why 10 months? Are you hoarding money? No. This healthy fund balance will be important as we move forward on our a number of big projects that we have in the city. We also completed renovation or renegotiation of our service delivery agreement with the county in 2022. And as a result, we will be seeing an increase on what the city pays the county for fire services, Ms. Hartley, animal control, and E911 over the next few years. We're going from paying an annual of $1.5 million with SDS and service delivery payments to $5 million to the county with an escalator. So that's why we had to have some money put aside. So that healthy fund balance will help us to meet those needs of our citizens so that you will not see any lapse in service. The city also continues to make differences and be efficient on our special funds or resources whenever possible to fill in some of the gaps of that information card that you have about the SPLOS program. So in 2016, SPLOS is wrapping up this year from 2016, and you all voted in 2022 to have another SPLOS. But in 2016, from that time until now, the SPLOS generated $40 million for city over the past year. Somebody want to clap? That's a lot of money. You can clap. And of course, the SPLOS money comes as special purpose local option sales taxes for people who come and shop at the mall in Kroger, Walmart, Walgreens, anywhere you pay tax dollars from anyone that comes to the community. That's where we get the SPLOS penny. And from these funds, we saw over 125 roads resurfaced within the city of Douglasville, nearly $8 million spent on improvements in our parks, $5.6 million spent on facility improvements, and $4.6 million spent on public safety initiatives with our police department. In SPLOS 2022, voters went to the polls and chose to renew the SPLOS program. We anticipate over the time frame for that, from 2022 for 6 years, that we will generate $51 million to be collected. And with that, your city, we're trusting and believing that we'll be able to do more programs and be good stewards of your resources and invest in the future of our great and growing city. Now we'll move on to another special fund that we have. It's called the Tax Allocation District with TAD. In 2022, also saw another year of funds collected from the TAD. And it was $2.58 million has been collected since the enactment of this district in 2021. TAD is a tax allocation district where you have an area that you tax, especially for like entertainment. So we have $2.58 million. These funds will be used for city beautification and infrastructure improvements within that restricted area. These SPLOS dollars and TAD funds will go towards major capital projects, projects that you can see and put your hands on that are vital projects for our community needs. And these special resources and funds allow us to complete them without creating more taxes and burden on the taxpayers, Mr. Boggs. So that's a great thing. Now we'll move on to the American Rescues Act that happened during COVID. The city received $12.69 million from the American Rescues Act, ARPA. These funds were used for various programs throughout the city, including renovations at West Pines Golf Club. We had a record-breaking year for West Pines, and 2022 was the highest revenues the course has ever seen. The PGA came to West Pines. They had a West Pines Classic. The U.S. Georgia Women's Amateur Qualifier was held at West Pines. So all the women that go to the Masters come through West Pines. We were featured in the Golf Georgia magazine. And that's right. Thank you so much. We're very proud of West Pines. The ARPA funds were also used for much-needed equipment, for park maintenance, and design and construction for the new city recycling center. Now, going back to West Pines, they have a performance center. You want to go there and get your game and have all birdies, and/or new golf carts that will stop if you go too far, or you can listen to the game while you're driving in the golf carts. And we want to congratulate our golf pro, Chris Cartwright, who is navigating his way trying to get to the Masters. But much needed equipment in the Parks Department. Design and construction for a new recycling center, currently planned to open in 2024. Recycling is going to be done in a different and unique way, but we do have recycling for the city of Douglasville. And, oh, I know, we do, people want recycling. If you want to see how it is, if you just go to Smyrna, that's where the city council and myself, we went to visit to see their operation. New vehicles and equipment upgrades for Public Safety Department. Now we're going to move on to public safety. Is the chief here? I know he's a busy bee, so he may not be here. Okay, Chief Sparks, public safety is another area that typically sees a lot of public scrutiny, but I'm going to tell you some great things about our Public Safety Department. Thank you to our police chief, Dr. Gary Sparks, and the Douglasville Police Department. We are fortunate in our community to have a police department committed to positive community engagement. Their goal is to break down barriers between police and residents through their community outreach programs. The police department hosted, get ready for this, Trevor, 48 community events in 2022. 48. Down at the police department for the entire community, giving citizens a chance to directly engage with officers and command staff in a friendly and open environment where you don't feel threatened. As Chief Sparks says, if you see something, say something. You say, Mayor, we won with the community. That's Chief Sparks, that's my impression. But our police department is wonderful. Public safety also focused on expanding technology programs in 2022. This is going to be really exciting. When I went to the U.S. Conference of Mayors, I heard in Washington, D.C. and Chicago and different places, you can purchase a camera and your Ring camera can connect to the police department if you want to. So the chief, we're starting off small. Ours is called the new community camera sharing program. It's a sharing volunteer program. This Connect Douglasville program is a community camera sharing program which will allow all residents and businesses to easily share video feeds from their own cameras with the police department during emergencies and incidents. This completely volunteer program, Brick Brother is not watching you. You can do it if you want to. Completely voluntary program will help improve community safety and law enforcement response times. We also have in the community with public safety emergency blue light poles. So the city is also deploying new emergency call boxes in all of our parks and all public spaces to further ensure the safety and security of our residents. So if you need to get to emergency, that's right, run to that blue light pole. Our officers are always in training, and public safety focuses on continued training and education. In 2022, this is another great one. 2022, the Georgia chapter of the FBI National Academy recognized the great work of our police department, and they named for the city of Douglasville's police department to be the 2022 Agency of the Year for the state of Georgia. Great. Not only that, but Chief Sparks, Dr. Gary Sparks, is a police chief of the year for the state of Georgia. Yes. Thank you, Douglasville Police Department, for bringing honor to the uniforms that you wear. If we have any police officers, public safety, thank you so much. If you're here, please stand. They're on it. Come on now. Thank you. Not only our police department, but employee training and professional development is important in every department. Education, certifications, and professional development are a priority, not only in the police department, but across all city departments. Our senior staff and leadership are amongst the most recognized and respected public servants in their fields. We have senior staff members serving in professional organizations on a regional, state, and international levels, ensuring that we are up to date on current practices and procedures across multiple fields. We have recently established Douglasville University. This is an internal training program, Gil. I know we have Douglas, we have WSA as well. Training program for our staff to ensure that we continue to focus on professional development. Our city council also trains, but in this Douglasville University, we worked with University of West Georgia and Dr., where is he? I don't know if he's here, but we work with them to get the curriculum. On our city council members completed annual training hours through the Georgia Municipal Association, and all 8 city council members, all 8 elected officials in the city of Douglasville, 7 council members and myself, have achieved milestone educational certifications from the Carl Vincent Institute of Government under the umbrella of the educational curriculum of University of Georgia. So we go to get training so that we can serve you better and not think that we know everything. So thank you to the elected officials for your time and taking time away from your families, and thank you to your families for sacrificing, allowing your loved ones to go and get training all over the state of Georgia, Tifton and Milledgeville and places we've never heard of, but thank you so much. Oh, I've heard of Milledgeville and Tifton, I apologize. There's some little towns I never heard of. Okay, I mentioned the awards and recognitions received by our police department, our finance department, our parks department, but the trend continues across every department in the city of Douglasville. Our staff is continually being recognized for the great work they do. And our HR department, is Miss Tia here? I know Dr. Westfield. Stand up for a second, Dr. Westfield, working in human resources. Let's give him a hand. Thank you. You paid forward like a Starbucks. I'm going to tell you what they've done now. They are the Healthiest Employer Award from the Atlanta Business Chronicle. We're named one of the healthiest 100 workplaces in America to work. The city of Douglasville in America. Our Community Relations Department received the Chamber of Spirit Award. Where's Jason? Wave your hand, Mr. Post. On top of Douglasville Jr. and all those other awards. And Assistant City Manager, is Miss Chelsea here? Miss Chelsea, stand up, Miss Chelsea. You don't want to stand? There you go, pretty girl. Okay, I apologize. Miss Chelsea, our Assistant City Manager, is one of the top 100 governmental influencers in the United States. She received that award. And so much more. Look at the Assistant City Manager saying, go, go. And under the auspice of the city manager, her mentor. So in closing, I know you're saying, whoa, girl, that's a lot of talking. In closing, our focus on service, public engagement, fiscal responsibility, equity and inclusion, transparency and accountability have led the city of Douglasville to be certified as a city of ethics by the Georgia Municipal Association, and recently we have added to the City of Civility certification. This is a certification that we realize as elected officials, appointed officials, and city employees that we treat people how we want to be treated. This designation is about how we interact with one another, with our citizens, and with our community partners. It means that we can all come together, have a meaningful discussion, debate on a subject with vastly differing opinions, Mayor McDougal. We can, behind the door, like my mother said, do the fussing at home when you get out in public. And still be respectful and open-minded to everyone. It's intentional. It's an intentional decision to focus on kindness and understanding in everything that we do. These accomplishments have led me to the conclusion that Team Douglasville, which we call a family, with its elected officials, its appointed officials, its staff, that we are valued staff, that we come together I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional because I've been here for almost 20 years. That we enjoy working here. The morale is high. We enjoy serving the people. This is the passion that we give to Douglasville. This lets me know that over the past year, we continue to focus on why we serve, who we serve, and how we serve. And I hope that you will agree with me that Douglasville is an amazing place, amazing city that is on the horizon. I'm deeply honored to serve as mayor and to be a part of this community. This is all my husband and children know. Stand up, honey, for a second. He got his seersucker on. Why are you looking at me? Stand up, husband. The Right Reverend Jeff Robinson, 28 years, going to be 29 this year. He's been putting up with me and my crazy ideas. But it helps me to know that being part of this community with our three beautiful children, 20, 22, and 24, pray my strength. They've come through the Douglasville educational system. The 20-year-old is a junior at Savannah State, Anna. 22-year-old is at Kennesaw State. She was there with Isaac and IB. 22, Olivia, she's going to graduate in the fall. Somebody give her a job in animation and graphic design. And the 24-year-old already has a job, Joel. He is a firefighter, EMT, and paramedic with Douglas County. Yes. Just keep on living, Miss Nadia. Once they get a little bit older, I know you want to keep them small. But he didn't tell me. We went to the chamber. Sidebar, this is real fast. We went to the chamber thing in North Carolina, right? My son didn't tell me, but he sat down and talked to my husband and showed him a ticket. He was going to Istanbul. Miss Pageant, he didn't even tell me. He wouldn't tell me because he let me go to Durham while he got on the plane. So he's sending us tickets from Greece and the ruins and all of that. But it's a wonderful place to live. I felt comfortable in that now he can fly and live with two other firefighters, Brother Nathan, and do what he has to do with the Douglas County Fire Department. It's a wonderful place to live. I'm excited for what the future holds, and I look forward to seeing how Douglasville will continue to grow and thrive and move forward. Thank you all for your time and attendance this evening. God bless the city of Douglasville. God bless Douglas County, the state of Georgia, and God bless America. Thank you so much for your time.
Madam Mayor, thank you so much. That was uplifting, exciting, and everything. So thank you so much. Thank you for your service and your leadership. Let's give her one more round of applause, please. So before we leave, we just want to thank Google, our sponsor for tonight. Thank you, Google. But you guys have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.